So I've been thinking back to when I've broken up with my son's dads. Um, I see and hear about so many parents that use their children as pawns in a game against each parent. Um, you know, mothers will fight to get custody and use, their children to get more money from the dad and deny visitation. And I know it's happened vice versa as well. And it's the most horrendous thing to do to your children. When I left my oldest son's dad and my youngest son's dad, we did go to court to hash things out. And, both times I was awarded primary custody. And of course, their dads got visitation. And I don't care what happened. I never got in the way of that. My oldest son's dad, he paid his child support, but stayed out of Christopher's life, and he's now trying to reconnect. And it's been sporadic contact between the two. And I don't blame Chris if he never wanted to see him again, but it's up to him. But I never once, turned away his dad if he showed up wanting to visit with him. And with my youngest son's dad, who came into our lives when Christopher was a year and a half. So therefore, he also calls him dad. But when my youngest son's dad and I split, we were never married, but we did have Jonathan. So, we also had to go to court for that. And it was the exact same thing. I didn't care how much money it was. All I cared about was that both Christopher and Jonathan were able to continue seeing their dad. Because, yeah, kids need a mom, but they also need their dads no matter what. And to use your kids against the other spouse is abhorrent to me. It does nothing but damage your children when that happens. Whenever you and your significant other split up, by that time, of course, there's hard feelings, there's anger and hurt. But you don't penalize your kids for your all's fuck ups. They don't care who did what to whom. All they care about is whether or not their parents love them. And I loved my kids enough to put everything that I felt on the back burner just to encourage the relationships with their dad. That was the most important thing throughout everything. Unfortunately, my youngest son's dad, I was angry at him for a very long time because he would call up and make promises to my boys about coming to pick them up over the weekend. And he'd never show up. And I would have to see that look on their face and explain to them that, yes, I know Daddy promised, but he can't make it. And that broke my heart, having to tell my children those words, because they loved him so much. And to hear that he's not coming like he promised hurt them. And it just devastated me, because I'm the one that had to comfort them while they were hurting, and to try and get that look off their face of disappointment, rejection, and confusion, because, Daddy promised. And then Daddy didn't fall through. But I didn't badmouth him in front of them. No matter what I felt, I kept it to myself. And if I had to vent, I made sure they were nowhere around, because I did not want to bash their father in front of them for any reason. And it's going through a custody battle when you're hurt and angry is not an easy thing to do. But you need to keep in mind that the children deserve only the love from the two of you. They don't deserve your baggage. A lot of people, I hear them say, there's no such thing as an amicable divorce or split. I am living proof that there is. My last husband and I were together 19 years, married for 16. And when we divorced, there was no anger, no fighting, just agreeing and compromising on the terms and then following through with it. And, even though we were divorced, before he moved, we spent some time together. And after he moved, we still texted and talked on the phone. It is possible to have a civil divorce. You just have to make sure you act as a grown-up and don't let childish, vindictive behavior cloud your judgment. Every time I've ended things with my spouses, it's been hard. mainly because of all the shit that we put each other through. There was a lot of anger, a lot of resentment, and wrong feelings, just bad feelings. But I always took the higher road instead of becoming the vindictive, evil ex-wife. I never wanted that, and I never became that. And throughout everything, even though I may have felt a different way with my kids, I put it all aside and buried it for them. They are the most important thing in any relationship you have. If you are privileged enough to have a child with your spouse, if your marriage ends, don't punish your kids for your all's mistakes. Don't use them to get back at the other or use them as manipulation tools. In the end, that will come back and bite you in the ass very hard. And it will cause a rift between you and your children if you do. So just remember, they are the most important thing in any relationship, especially when that relationship ends. They never should pay for your all's mistakes. I just wanted to share some of the wisdom I've gained over the years. And I hope that somebody hears this and, maybe makes them think and maybe realize their children deserve the best no matter what. So I'm going to say farewell for the night. I hope you all have a wonderful night, and I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Love y'all. Bye.